Welcome back to the deep dive. If you're looking for a meal that just screams freshness, balance, and, well, quick sophistication, you're probably thinking Vietnamese rice paper rolls. Cuốn.
Absolutely. They're a classic for a reason.
They really are. So light, so healthy, and you can put almost anything in them. But let's be real, going from that pile of delicious stuff on your plate to a, perfectly tight, neat roll that doesn't fall apart immediately, that takes a bit more than just enthusiasm. There are some surprisingly specific techniques involved.
That's exactly what we're digging into today.
Right.
Our mission really is to unpack those techniques and also the cultural side of it. We want to help you move from just, assembling them to actually mastering them. Because when cuốn is done right, it's just sublime. It hits that perfect Vietnamese balance.
You mean the fresh herbs, the crunchy veg, that bit of protein, the noodles, all wrapped up?
Exactly. Crisp vegetables, tender protein, those silky vermicelli noodles, all inside that almost invisible, delicate rice paper. It's a textural masterpiece.
And the adaptability is amazing, isn't it? Our sources definitely highlight that. It's probably why they're so popular everywhere. You can do shrimp or tofu, add maybe some fried shallots for crunch, or even mango like you sometimes see.
Right, the variations are endless. Shrimp, pork, grilled chicken, marinated tofu. You can make it completely plant-based easily. And our focus today is ensuring that whatever filling you choose, the roll itself holds together beautifully. You get that structure.
Okay, so structure implies a good foundation. Where do we start? The ingredients, obviously.
Yes, quality ingredients are foundational.
Yeah.
But it's more than just having them. It's about the prep. That's the secret weapon.
All right, let's list the essentials first. You obviously need the rice paper wrappers, the banh trine, and rice vermicelli noodles. Now, this seems important. They have to be soaked and completely cooled first.
Oh, absolutely crucial. If those noodles are even slightly warm when they hit the rice paper, disaster. They'll basically start to melt the wrapper from the inside out. Total structural failure waiting to happen.
Okay, cool noodles. Got it. What about the herbs?
The classic trio is mint, basil, and cilantro. You need that specific, fresh, aromatic punch. For protein, the sources usually point to cooked shrimp, often split, boiled pork belly, sliced thin, maybe some grilled chicken, or a well-seasoned marinated tofu.
And the crunch factor.
Oh.
Lettuce, cucumber, carrot, bean sprouts too.
Yes, those are pretty standard. Lettuce, crisp cucumber, maybe julienne, carrot, bean sprouts for texture.
Now, you mentioned prep is key. Our sources seem to stress one thing above all before you even think about wetting a wrapper: organization.
100%. If you're scrambling mid-roll to find the mint or slice more cucumber, that delicate wrapper is just going to give up on you. It waits for no one.
Huh. Okay. So what does good organization look like here?
It means having everything prepped and arranged before you start, on a platter, ideally, like a little assembly line. Your herbs washed and dried, veggies sliced, protein ready, noodles cooled, everything within easy reach. Think of it like mise en place, but for rolling. It makes the whole workflow smooth, which is vital because once that wrapper is wet, the clock is ticking.
Okay, let's dive into that filling prep then. Step 1, you said. Wash the herbs and veggies, but then you emphasize they have to be completely dry. Why is getting rid of every single drop of water so critical? Seems a bit extreme.
It sounds fussy, but it's pure physics, really. Think about the rice paper. It's basically just starch. If you wrap up damp lettuce or herbs, that extra moisture inside starts breaking down the starch wrapper from the inside. It accelerates the process. So if your fillings are wet, your roll gets soggy and sticky super fast. It loses integrity. It's just sad.
Okay, moisture equals faster breakdown. That makes total sense. And the slicing, also important for structure. We can't just throw in chunks.
Definitely not chunks. Thin. Even strips are the way to go for protein. And the harder veg like carrots and cucumber. Chunky bits create these uneven pressure points, right? And that fragile wrapper will just tear when you try to roll it tightly. Neat, thin strips let you build a compact, even filling. It makes rolling so much easier, and you get that nice, tight cylinder shape.
Right, okay. Ingredients prepped, dried, sliced, all laid out. Now, for the part that personally trips me up the most, the rice paper itself, it's just so delicate. I've definitely ended up with a sticky, torn, unusable blob on my counter more than once.
That's the classic hurdle. And almost always the issue comes down to water management. This is step 2, softening the wrapper correctly. You need a wide, shallow bowl, yes. But here's a crucial detail from our sources. The water needs to be warm. Not lukewarm, but definitely not hot.
Wait, really? Not hot? I always figured hotter water would make it pliable faster. What's the problem with using really hot water?
It does make it pliable faster, but too fast and unevenly. The heat makes the starch react intensely, almost shocking it. It goes from stiff to overly fragile and super sticky. You're like, a second. You lose all control. Warm water softens it more gently, giving you time to work.
Control. Okay. So warm water. How long are we talking for the dip? It feels like a guessing game.
It's surprisingly quick. The sources consistently say 3 to 5 seconds. Just enough for the sheet to loosen up and become slightly translucent, but not floppy. You have to avoid over-soaking. Think of it like pliable is good, soggy is bad, very bad, fragile. If you leave it soaking for, say, 10 seconds, it might feel okay when you pull it out, but it'll likely fall apart while you're adding the filling. It's deceptive.
3 to 5 seconds. Wow, okay. That's much faster than I'd have guessed. Now, the other problem, sticking. Pulling a perfectly filled roll off a dry cutting board and having it tear, it's heartbreaking.
Oh, the worst. But the fix is quite simple, thankfully. You need a surface that won't fight back. Lay the just dipped, softened sheet flat onto a damp cutting board or even a clean, damp kitchen towel. That little bit of surface moisture acts like a buffer, preventing the sticky rice paper from grabbing on and tearing. But it's not enough moisture to make the paper itself soggy.
Okay, so a damp surface is the trick. Not wet, just damp. That makes sense. All right, perfect wrapper achieved, not sticking. Let's assemble this thing. Steps 3 and 4, layering and rolling. This is where the structure really forms.
Exactly. Step 3 is all about strategic layering. You start with what our sources sometimes call the cushion. That means placing a nice, sturdy lettuce leaf near the bottom third of your wrapper, leaving a little border on the sides.
The cushion, what's its job? Why lettuce first?
It does 2 things. First, it acts as a protective barrier. It shields the delicate rice paper from potentially pokey things like vermicelli ends or sharp veggie edges, prevents little tears. Second, it gives you a bit of bulk to start the roll, making it easier to get that initial tight tuck. It's like the foundation layer.
Clever, a protective base. Okay, lettuce down. What's the layering order after that?
Keep it neat and horizontal. Build a compact mound, don't pile it too high. Usually a small bundle of the cooled vermicelli goes next. Then your herbs, mint, basil, cilantro leaves. Then the sliced veggies, cucumber, carrot, sprouts. And finally, lay 2 or 3 pieces of your protein, like shrimp halves or pork slices. Right on top of the mound near the edge you'll see last.
Ah, so the protein is placed last, so it shows through the wrapper. For look.
Exactly. That's how you get that classic appealing look where you see the pink shrimp or the green herbs peeking through the translucent paper. Purely aesthetic, but important.
Okay, filling layered. Now, step 4. The actual fold and roll. This isn't like rolling a burrito, is it? Needs more finesse.
Much more finesse, in a specific order. First, you fold the left and right sides inward over the edges of the filling. Think of it like closing the ends first. This contains the filling side to side.
Okay, sides in. Then what?
Then, you lift the bottom edge, the one closest to you, up and over the filling mound. And here's the key. You need to tuck it snugly.
Snugly. What happens if I'm too gentle? If I just sort of drape it over?
A loose fold means a loose roll. It'll be floppy, probably unravel, and won't hold its shape when you pick it up and try to dip it. It'll just be sad. You need to apply gentle but firm pressure as you lift that bottom edge and tuck it tightly underneath the filling. That creates the initial tension.
Tension, right. That's the difference between a flimsy roll and a nice, firm, professional-looking one.
Precisely. You maintain that snug tension as you roll it upwards, away from you, keeping it tight all the way until the top edge seals itself. The goal is a firm, even cylinder. It might take a couple of tries to get the feel for how much tension you can apply without tearing the paper. It's a balance.
Practice makes perfect. And there was one more little tip for the rolling itself, something about fingers.
Yes, a great little pro tip from the sources. Lightly dampen your fingertips with water while you're rolling, just a tiny bit. It stops the wrapper from sticking to your fingers, making the whole rolling motion much smoother and easier.
Nice. Okay, roll perfected. Moving on to step 5. Serving it up, keeping it fresh, and those all-important sauces.
Can't forget the sauces. A good guy needs a great dipping sauce. Or 2. What are the non-negotiables?
Our sources point to 2 absolute classics. First, the creamy, nutty peanut hoisin sauce. Usually hoisin, peanut butter, maybe some water or coconut milk to thin it, and often a squeeze of lime.
That's the one. Rich and savory. And the second must-have is the lighter, brighter, classic Vietnamese fish sauce dip, nuoc chum. That's typically fish sauce, lime juice, sugar, water, and often some chili and maybe garlic. That essential sweet, sour, salty, spicy balance.
Perfect. Now, these rolls are definitely best fresh, but life happens. If you need to make them a bit ahead, what are the rules? They seem fragile.
Extremely fragile once made. If you're serving them within, say, an hour, Cover them carefully with a slightly damp cloth. Not wet, just damp. That humidity stops the wrappers drying out and cracking. Any longer than an hour, maybe up to 2 hours max, you need to wrap each roll individually in plastic wrap and pop them in the fridge. But honestly, 2 hours is pushing it. The wrappers start to get tough, and the fillings can make them soggy. Fresh is truly best.
That short time frame really underscores how this dish is meant to be eaten almost immediately.
It does. And one last practical tip for maximizing freshness. Keep your herbs and greens properly chilled right until you assemble. Cold, crisp ingredients make a huge difference in that final texture and aromatic quality.
Okay, we've got the technical side down pat, warm water, damp surface, the lettuce cushion, the snug roll, careful storage. But let's zoom out. Why are these rolls, this specific food, so culturally significant in Vietnam? It seems like more than just a recipe.
Oh, it's definitely more. Our sources really emphasize that making God is often about gathering. It's communal. It's not usually a dish one person makes alone in the kitchen and then serves. Very often, all the prepared ingredients are brought to the table, and everyone sits around chatting and rolling their own, customizing them as they go.
Ah, so the act of making the food becomes part of the shared meal itself, like a group activity built into dinner.
Exactly. It turns meal prep into this shared social experience. In a form of hospitality, really. You're not just giving someone food, you're inviting them into the process, into the ritual. Rolling together is connection.
That's fascinating. So the meticulous prep, we talked about the careful slicing, the drying, it's also a sign of care for the people you're sharing the meal with.
I think so, yes. It reflects a respect for the ingredients and for the experience you're creating together. Every roll, every dip into that shared sauce bowl carries that sense of tradition, balance, and, well, community craft.
It really reframes the dish, doesn't it? It's not just fast, fresh food, it's edible hospitality. And maybe that adaptability we mentioned, easily swapping ingredients, is why this communal idea can travel so well globally. The core act remains, even if the filling changes.
That's a great point. The sources definitely paint a picture of a dish that embodies freshness, balance, and this incredible creative potential. So we've covered the craft, the warm water secret, the damp surface, the tension roll, why dry fillings are non-negotiable.
So here's something to think about then. When a food tradition like this, one built around shared, specific, hands-on labor rolling together, becomes a global hit, what does its adaptability say about keeping traditions alive? Does changing the fillings help preserve the core act of communal making, or does it dilute it? Something to chew on.
Absolutely. And now that you know the techniques, go experiment. Try that mango or maybe some grilled fish. Make it your own, but keep that spirit of fresh, shared enjoyment.